Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of this program on the network service of Radio Nigeria Online. Today we have a freedom fighter, someone who has been fighting for the liberation of his people, the leader of the Ambazonian movement, Dr. Samuel Sako. Dr. Samuel Sako, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Hamza. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We would like to start by asking you to give us an insight into the goals and objectives of your movement and what you envision as the future of the Anglophone region in Cameroon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hamza and the listeners. We are a peace-loving people. We have been annexed by the Republic of Cameroon, and this is our story. We have been brutally annexed, and today, when we ask questions about the falsehood, the fraud, and the annexation and assimilation that has taken place, when we ask questions about the very foundation of this falsehood, we are now systematically being massacred by the government of the Republic of Cameroon. And genocide is pure genocide taking place next door. And the international community is silent. Then what's still the most concerned neighbor who is bearing the brunt of this war, Nigeria, is surprisingly silent and probably mostly unaware of what is going on. So that's why I thank God for this opportunity to inform our people, our brothers, once upon a time, our fellow citizens of the same country, that this is what is happening next door. We have been annexed. What you called the Anglophone region is a creation by the annexation authority of Yaoundé. Whenever a region from the beginning, we were first of all governed with Nigeria up to 1953 in the Eastern region. We sat in the Eastern region as an autonomous body, but governed by the British under the Governor General. So when we withdrew from Nigeria peacefully and asserted our autonomy in 1953, we organized our first elections in 1954 as an autonomous country. And we elected our premier, head of government, constituted our government, and we had all the institutions of state. And it was for the United Nations to prepare us for self-governance or independence. And then the trustee administrator, Britain, was given that charge, but they failed in that charge. Instead, they abandoned us on the way. In 1961, when they gave us only the choice of joining either Nigeria again or going back to join Cameroon as independent by joining either of these, they deprived us of what the United Nations prescribed in the very trusteeship agreement that was signed in 1960 between Britain and the United Nations to prepare us for independent and self-government. And for that reason, Cameroon took, and the French behind them, took advantage, overran our country, dissolved our institutions, fired our premier, and annexed us, so to speak. And today we are a captured people. What is going on is that it's like what is going on in Ukraine and some other countries. We want Nigeria as a brother to do something. It is not enough to be the big brother. Big brother means care. Big brother means protection. Big brother means, especially when you are even affected by what is going on, to stand aloof and do nothing. It looks like complicity with the oppressor.
Okay, thank you for this insight. But you mentioned Nigeria, United Nations, and all those. Have you approached Nigeria officially to wade into this, or the sub-regional body, which is ECOWAS, or the African Union, or even the United Nations itself, to press home your demands and to report what is ongoing within your, as you call it, your country?
Yes.
Have you explored those channels?
Oh, severally. Where would I begin? We are just like we have been twin brothers. So we have always looked up to Nigeria to do something. And in 2002, this matter was taken to the Abuja High Court. The court ruled that the Attorney General of Nigeria should take the matter of the self-determination of the people of the Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, to the ICJ or the United Nations to determine who was the neighbor in the Eastern Maritime border. Who was the neighbor with Nigeria? Who is the neighbor to Nigeria in the Eastern Maritime border? Was it the Republic of Cameroon or the Southern Cameroon? The pillar 64, onward, all those pillars, were they Southern Cameroon pillars or pillars demarcating the border between the French Cameroon? No, it was the Southern Cameroon. So that was ignored. That was ignored. They have not done. But after that, we have tried to insist on Nigeria doing something. Today, there are 125,000 registered refugees in Nigeria. So you can see how much is taken away from the Nigerian taxpayer. So if this is not, if not for any other reason, because this directly affects the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian state, they have to do something, but they have not done. We have not seen the political will to do something, especially under President Buhari, where this escalation started in 2017. It rather led to the abduction and extraordinary rendition of our leadership to Yaoundé to be sentenced to death, to life. And I want to tell you that we took the Nigerian state again to court, and we won that case. And the court ruled in Abuja that the extraordinary rendition was illegal, that Nigeria should do everything for their freedom, and fines were imposed on the Nigerian government to pay all the 10 leaders of the Southern Cameroon that were extradited, so to speak, to Cameroon. That judgment has not also been enforced. We have been trying to do this legally, trying to do this by talking to the political class and the ruling class. We have not as much as had our way because of the political will.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sako. But it is a popular saying that the solution to every conflict is dialogue. Did you explore the channel of dialogue towards getting what you wanted from the Northern Cameroon, using the instrumentality of alliance, if you have any?
We are a non-violent movement. We are as a people. Because if not, you cannot just walk and bring gendarmes and their soldiers, dissolve institutions, dissolve the parliament, dismiss the prime minister, and abduct leaders and execute them summarily, and some of them just disappear. And then for 60 years and nothing happened. Means we are peace-loving people by nature, and our movement is a peaceful movement. But how did it begin in 2016? The civil society, that is the only organized movement, having dissolved all our political parties from the beginning, the only movement that actually represents the interests of the Southern Cameroon people, they organized and called the government to dialogue. That was in 2016. But what did the La République du Cameroun do? They came, pretended to want to dialogue, simply identified the leaders that they called the ringleaders, and did what proceeded to arrest them, and the rest had to go on exile. So they refused dialogue in that instance. Then on exile, we continued the fight. We continue to ask the United Nations to do something. They put this together. If it is not going well, the same authority, the umpire, has the right to look into it and solve the problem. Now we have been to the United Nations, we have been to the United States State Department. We have been talking to Britain, that actually was the trust administrator over the territory of the Southern Cameroon. We have been doing all that. And in 2019, we're able to get the Swiss government to serve as a mediator to this conflict, and endorsed by the United Nations and the United States and Europe and the EU. They endorsed that process. The Cameroon government pretended to adhere to the process. 2.5 years after, in 2022, they unilaterally withdrew from the table, and that was it. And Canada came in to help somehow to engineer some informal talks, which was at the behest of the Cameroon government, we were told, as Canada said it. But as soon as the process, before it even went into a week or two, they came out with a statement brazenly denying any authorizing any country to mediate in this conflict. So that is how Cameroon government has been systematically rejecting dialogue. And you know, when justice is denied, when peace is resisted, you see, then violence continues. So that is what is happening. They have the upper hand. They have the money. They have the resources coming from our country. They are able to kill their way to normalcy. So they believe. So we are also condemned to resist till freedom comes.
Okay, so let's talk about the reports of significant casualties and loss of life during the conflicts in the region. Can you share your perspectives on the human cost of these conflicts and what efforts, if any, your own administration is making to protect the civilians over there?
We cannot really be exact with our figures because the Cameroon government has besieged our country, has made it impossible for even human rights watch organizations, to have a free way into our territory to see how much cruelty, barbarism, and genocide they are exacting on our people. So they have made sure that there is an information blackout. Even their so-called media pressmen, they are now intimidated, and they are instrumentalized to make sure that this information about this does not go out. So, but we have our own numbers because there are people who are dying. There are our relatives who are in the bushes. And there are some rough estimates that are given by humanitarian organizations that are able to break through the stone walls in order to help our people. We have more than 1.6 million people who are internally displaced, living in bushes, in huts, in hamlets, in the bushes. And we have more than 125,000 registered. And with the borders between Nigeria and the Southern Cameroon is long. So you can imagine how many are not registered if that number is registered. So some people cross the borders, they don't even know where to go to. Those who are able to find themselves to some registration center, about 125,000 so registered. And we have more than 5,000 of our own innocent people who have not been judged except by some kangaroo trial because they call them terrorists for making political demands. And they are 5,000 plus, and many who have disappeared. We don't know where they are right now. And our people are being extracted from their homes, maimed, shot from the foot, summarily executed by the wayside, corpses everywhere, just for being Southern Cameroonians. That's all. Our crime. Our crime is that we are Southern Cameroonians, and we deserve to be eliminated, because as two people whom the United Nations mandated to come together in 1961 and establish a federation of two states of equal status, we were not conquered by the French Cameroon. So when some people say we want to break away, I don't know what they mean. We were an autonomous people with a government, with institutions, and then they gave us this funny option of joining another independent country to form a federation of two states of equal status. What has happened to that federation? When we were growing up, we used to hear of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. What is it? When we were annexed, the annexation authority in Yaoundé, they just dissolved that thing, looked for one phony referendum, so-called. They decided, and then they just dissolved it, and they took back their original name that they had before coming into this union that has disappeared. They were called the Republic of Cameroon. We were called the Southern Cameroon. We came together to form the Federal Republic of the Cameroon. Where is the Federal Republic of the Cameroon? They simply have taken back their original name. That means annexation is full circle. They completed their process, and assimilation continued. When we say no, they say we are terrorists and want to break their country. We have pillars that separate between the Southern Cameroon and these people. These pillars were put there in 1929 by the League of Nations. We have pillars, internationally recognized borders between these two countries. So that is the truth that many of our brothers in Nigeria have not understood. I think the more they understand, the better for our case will be.
Okay. That brings me to the next question, Dr. Sako. You painted a picture of a serious humanitarian crisis going on there. People killed, people maimed, people disappearing. And there's this similar allegation on the leadership that is under your leadership, that there are also human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killings and displacement of people. From the other side, accusing your own side now. What is your stand on these allegations?
Yes, there are always bad actors, both sides. But what we condemn is an official policy. When there is an official policy to commit crimes against humanity, there is a problem. On the side of the Republic of Cameroon, there is an official policy which says, wipe out this ethnic cleansing, wipe these people out, because we don't want to dialogue with them. It is their country. They have a right to what they say. Legally, we have no grounds that we can use force to take them. To keep them, if we can take them all out and reduce their resistance to zero. So by all means, everyone that is called a Southern Cameroon is potentially an enemy. So they just kill them for who they are. That's identity cleansing. Now, when that is the policy for us, the Southern Cameroon leadership, we don't have the policy of killing anything French Cameroon that we find, or anything that is associated with French Cameroon. We kill them because of being French Cameroon. That's not our policy. So one thing is that where there is a breakdown of law and order like this, there are fringe actors that will do certain things outside the policy that the leadership has put in place. And there are also these free actors, some of them are criminal in nature. They exist even at peace times, but during war times, they may increase in number and influence, because poverty and penury and suffering will lead people to who have whatever they have in hand to survive. Then we have those fringe actors, and we also have some actors that are planted by the regime of Yaoundé to exact these acts of criminality under the guise of civilians, unarmed men. I mean, not unarmed men, that's armed gunmen, so that it gives the coloration of the Ambazonians' resistance that is not in uniform like them. So they have the interest to perpetrate this type of acts in order to give us a name, so that we can all together be discarded by the international community as criminals, as terrorists, and so they will not put them under the pressure to dialogue with us. They are under tremendous pressure to dialogue with us as the only means to resolve this matter. They are rejecting dialogue, and one way to make sure that they are not pressured to follow the path of dialogue is to find a way to malign us, to present us as criminals who don't deserve to be dialogued with. How do they do? They sponsor their own militias into our midst. They simply take their uniform soldiers, take off their uniforms, and send them to go and exact acts of criminality in broad daylight. And their own modus operandi is to put it all in camera so that people can see. Criminals don't commit crimes in camera. But when you see those crimes committed in camera on a stage like our own, you know that there's some actor that is calling the shot, who wants to paint a picture and want to send a message. That is what they have been doing. But we know, even the United States government and the international community, our partners, they know, human rights organizations, they know that that is not the policy of the Ambazonian interim government that I lead. That's not our policy.
All right. That brings me to the measures being taken. You mentioned so many people being in IDP camps. Some are within the Nigerian and Cameroon border. So, in your own parts, under your leadership, what measures are you taking to ensure the safety and the well-being of these people, apart from what other countries are doing for them?
Yes, no country can be able to bear what is going on in the southern Cameroon. More than 50,000 of our people killed. I give that number as the blank estimate we have been given from all our statistics put together. And this millions displaced. No country can be able to handle that without help. So our number one strategy is to reach out to organizations that are able to channel aid directly to the people. Find a way, break through the iron gates of La Republic, who don't want our people to be helped, but find a way to help our people. And we are also doing our little we can do by collecting some donations. Like our refugees, about 2 or 3 times a year, we try to channel what we have collected to help them, especially in Nigeria. If you're around the October, the refugee day, the December period, and the school return period, you'll find that we are always there trying to give the little we can. And we're encouraging the good people of Nigeria, the churches, the other organizations to continue to help our people who are there, because they don't deserve this to happen to them. That is how much we can do. And the United Nations, UNHCR, is first of all not willing to register everyone that is supposed to be registered. Some have been, this 125,000 have been registered by the Nigerian Refugee Commission. But the UNHCR has to register them for them to be part of whatever budget they have for them. But that budget is ridiculous. I think it's about, is it 2,500 naira a month? You know that is near death budget.
2,500 naira per individual.
Yeah, it used to be 7,000 naira a month, then they divided it into 2. So started giving, I think, 3,500 naira a month per refugee.
Dr. Sako, did you probe to know why this treatment on your people?
Say it again.
Did you try to probe to know why the reduction in the budget from 7,000 monthly per head to 2,500 naira per head monthly? Did your leadership, try to know why the reduction in the budget?
Yes, we did. Our representatives, they cited budgetary constraints. So you understand. Sometimes it's just to squeeze our people, whatever. In the United Nations system, all conflicts are not the same, and sometimes a new conflict will eclipse an old one. And so your problem is old, therefore it's not important. The new one will be taken up first. So, but our people, instead, when the number has increased and women are put to bed and people are in dire need of money, that's when they cut down their ration. And go and find out if it is even regular, if it is even coming out regular. So that is the mess.
All right. You mentioned UNHCR, which reduces budgets, and there are some international organizations that have expressed concern about the conflicts and its impact on civilian population. So what is your response to these concerns? Do you see any room for dialogue or negotiation to seek a peaceful resolution of this crisis, vis-a-vis what you just painted about the UNHCR, which is one of such organizations?
I still believe that dialogue is the only way. We are going through this because of a party, so-called state party, that has rejected dialogue systematically. And dialogue will be possible when important stakeholders, including the most consequential neighbor that we have, Nigeria, to take some leadership, to show some leadership in this, because it's surprising that after 7 years, Nigeria has not done anything as to show some leadership over this matter, to even initiate any form of dialogue. We want Europe to come and solve our problems in Africa. Yet we want to be a consequential partner or a party or nation on the continent. That is happening, something is happening right before our nose. Nigeria has not done anything to say, but this thing is already affecting us anyway. Let's even try to engineer some kind of dialogue. That has not happened. Other stakeholders like the United Nations, like the United States, that is the superpower, that also has interest in that sub-region. We are hoping that if they push La Republic enough, they will see reason to privilege dialogue over violence, because when the people have their idea that you are stealing their freedom, and which is true, you cannot kill that with a barrel. Violence will only beget more violence. I want to say that the longer this problem persists, the more that geopolitical zone will become prone to greater violence. Because I can tell you that those people who are doing everything to survive the onslaught of La Republic will not do anything less to survive than to resist till the last man standing. And this, when there is such chaos, many actors outside may have a way into that territory and into that region and cause greater insecurity problems. So why are we waiting for problems to escalate to get to a point where there is a fallout into the whole region before we start thinking of solutions? Problems can be nipped from the bud. And I think that something can be done because we have a peaceful disposition. We are ready for dialogue. We love dialogue. We love peace. And we also want to enjoy our country that the United Nations gave us by a resolution to enjoy.
Okay. You consistently mention Nigeria not playing its role as a big brother. Now that Nigeria has a new government, and the president being a Democrat all his life, before the Nadeko days, the military juntas, during the Abacha days and all that. And the government is barely 5 months now. Are you considering approaching the president, that is President Bola Tinubu, with this issue? And if you are opportune to meet the president, what would you want him to do for your people?
I have strongly thought about meeting President Tinubu, but I have also thought that at this time there is too much on his plate because of what is going on around the election. I desperately wait for the Supreme Court to give a final ruling on or judgment or whatever the election results should be in Nigeria. And when there is that sense of stability in his office, I'm sure he will look beyond his immediate task that he has before him. So we have already organized ourselves to do that. We should do that as quickly as possible. What I will request is that he shows some leadership. I saw that when Niger had a problem, when there was a violation of the constitutional order, it took a matter of hours for him to make a statement and said everything should be done to return to constitutional order. That was leadership. And then that unfortunately it was a threat to use arms. That arms should come as the last resort in any case, because nobody wins when there is war. Even the person who calls himself a winner will be inheriting more negative than positive. You can achieve peace without war. That would be better. If he shows such leadership in our context, then he can help in collaboration with the other international partners to engineer a genuine process and oblige Cameroon, who are unwilling to do something because Nigeria is already paying the tab for this war. So they cannot be an uninterested party. They can speak with some authority and concern over the matter. And then they can also influence the regional bodies, including the AU, to do something. That's leadership. So that some of these problems can be resolved, and by no means will it affect Nigeria negatively or going forward.
Okay. Dr. Sako, this brings me to the second question that I wanted to ask you, but you have painted a picture which every person that listens to this will understand what has been happening in your region. Now that you have formed a government in exile, and other foot soldiers are fighting the cause back home and facing the brunt of whatever is being meted on them, people see it as the elites are the ones instigating those in back home to fight the cause while the elites are out of the country enjoying themselves. How would you react to this?
Well, that is what the propaganda machine will always use to dissuade the people from following going after their political demand. Here is the thing. Our struggle is not a leader-centered struggle. It's a people-centered struggle. Our people have lived, every one of my age and my children downward has lived this injustice. So it's not something that we are reading from some books or some people are telling us the story. We have been denied, we have been marginalized, we have been dehumanized, we have been treated like animals in a country that we are supposed to be two parties of equal status. So the people who are fighting on the ground, they are first of all reacting to what the enemy is doing to them. So their reaction is in real time. When they came out to march, the La Republic of Cameroon government, French government, yeah, when they use helicopter gunship and were shooting people like birds. We have lived this and we have buried our own. Those people are not fighting for us, neither are we the one talking to their ears to do something. You cannot send somebody to go and die. No matter how he loves you, he will not go. People who are ready to die are people who have lost every reason to live. Those are people who have lost every reason to live, and they think that until they fight, they will not amount to anything, or they will be killed. That is where our people are right now. If we were not restricted going back and they are looking for us all over the place, I will be back home now, somewhere in the forest too with my people. So I'm not here by choice to enjoy whatever so that people will kill themselves there. If the conditions change, they withdraw their troops from our territory. Within the next 72 hours, many of us will be right back home where we are with our people. But one thing is sure, that when you are drowning, it is good for your head to be above the water, no matter how tired you are. So we are just the head. If we are not above the water, this whole thing will drown. The reason why you can hear us today is because we are not somewhere in La Republic of Cameroon. Would have been targeted, either arrested among the 5,000 who are in jail, or summarily executed and killed, so that we will not be heard. But as far as the head is above the water, you can hear our voice. You can see our flight. Somebody will talk on their behalf. That's what we are doing, for no salary, for no pay.
Okay, Dr. Sako, while your head is above the water, can you paint a picture of any recent events that happened within your region?
This, for the past 2 months, yes, for the past 2 months, and I reported it to the State Department, we have had 5 massacres. Just here, I'm not saying from the beginning of the year. We have had 5 massacres where the Republic of Cameroon just picks our people, take them to the street, and just shoot them point blank and kill them altogether. And we have had in Babanki, we have had in Nacho, we have had in Bamenda, we have had in Bui, we have had about 6 different massacres where we don't know. Those are the ones we saw, because those ones we saw their bodies. The other ones, they just pick them up, they go somewhere along the bushes, they just shoot them and keep them there. And then when you look for your own, you don't see, you know that if he was arrested, just forget about it. If you go to the nearest camp and you don't see them, know that they're executed. Or just hope and pray that somehow if they were shot, they survived the bushes. That is what is going on. So I don't even know which one to tell you, because we have, when this war will be over, people will be shocked that a Rwanda-style genocide happened next door for 7-10 years and they knew not, because of the information blackout. We have international organizations that have carried out their own surveys, secret surveys of how many mass graves are in Ambazonia right now, in the southern Cameroon. Mass graves, where they summarily take our people, go to one school, in a concentration camp, afterwards take them out at night, go and execute them, dump them mass graves. We have them in Tole, we have them in the northern zone, we have so many of them. But those places will only be fully accessed by human rights organizations when we have a full control of our territory, because the French government, Cameroon government, is refusing to give authorization to these organizations to go there and carry out any fact-finding mission because of the atrocities that are committed. For this reason, we took the Cameroon government to the ICC. They already, we took a case there to the ICC in end of 2020. We took a case there, no, beginning of 2020. We have a case in the ICC, a petition for the ICC. We are hoping that Nigeria and some of these other stakeholders should put some pressure on ICC to do the right thing, because I see that justice is very selective. If people are not standing up for something, even the courts will not do it. This is very wrong. We are saying that this is how much we have suffered, and with the institutions that are supposed to help us are not helping us. We have done our best. Our case is in the ICC. If they pick it up today, at least a fact-finding mission will begin under the auspices of the ICC, and this culture of impunity, this genocide will cease, because they will understand that they cannot do this with impunity. There will be a day of reckoning, and the day of reckoning has come. That petition is still lying down there in the ICC in The Hague.
All right. Dr. Sako, thank you very much. But this leads me to another question. It's been interesting having this conversation with you. The people being massacred, and don't you think they are the foot soldiers on ground? Maybe, just maybe, the Cameroonian authorities might see them with live ammunitions and then tag them as enemies. Or is it that innocent civilians? Is it innocent civilians that are being targeted, or just random people fighting this cause?
Innocent people, because we received intelligence when this war started, and when they discovered our people are serious to resist them, because throughout our history they have just been killing us and we do nothing. We run away, like me, I'm on exile since 2010. So everybody, when they see that you are a leader, you are of some influence, either they kill you, they imprison you, or you run across the borders and you go. When they discovered that this was the case, they tried. The people tried to resist. The people tried their best to resist, but the enemy overwhelmed them. Yeah.
Okay. So let me take this last question so that I will allow you. I know you have a lot in your hands to handle.
Yeah.
Assuming you have the opportunity of addressing the United Nations, what will be your specific demands? And the pictures you painted of mass killings and overrunning of communities over there, would the Ambazonian people, under your leadership, demand for compensation of lives being lost? Or would you rather follow the channel of reconciliation to forgive and forget and move on, so long as you're going to have your demands from the Cameroonian government?
If I have the opportunity to be before the United Nations to make demands, which we have made several times in writing, if I have the opportunity to go there and rather talk to them,
yes.
There are two things I will do based on two perspectives. I think these people, we have a case of self-determination, even if we did not have a legal argument of how we have been cheated in this de facto union. We have a case of self-determination. No, we cannot come into a marriage of two equals and be treated like we are strangers, like we are not citizens, we are second class, we are slaves, and we are denied everything. They have taken everything we have and everything we are as a people. And then when we want to ask questions, they are massacring us the way they are doing. That gives us the right as a people for self-determination. We can ask for self-determination without regard to whether we had any other legal agreement. That alone is the basis for self-determination of the people. Then number two, I will tell the United Nations to respect their own UN resolution Trusteeship Council of 1960 between Britain and the Southern and the United Nations with respect to the Southern Cameroon. That resolution said that Britain should prepare the Southern Cameroon for self-government and independence. Then we will have to, I will request that they review that what Britain did and did not do based on that agreement. That was the trusteeship agreement. How did they prepare us for self-government? And how did they prepare us for independence? And what did we get? Where is the independence? If Britain is saying that they gave us independence by joining Cameroon, where is the joining? What was created at the joining? Where is the agreement in the United Nations that shows that two states joined under your own leadership and supervision? Two of these states joined, so there was a treaty of union. This is the copy at the United Nations. We'll ask the United Nations to revisit the case of the Southern Cameroon. Then, because according to the Charter of the United Nations, 76, two nations cannot just come together, dissolve their borders without a treaty of union. What is it? If they say we formed the Federal Republic of Cameroon, where let them call Cameroon and ask Cameroon that where is the Federal Republic of Cameroon? How did it disappear? What are the legal means that you put in place for that to be dissolved correctly for you to take back your name and we have disappeared in the equation? So our case of annexation will be established. I will make our case of annexation before the United Nations. And I think if they reject the fact that we have been annexed, or they don't see, they want to insist that we were properly decolonized, that Britain did everything right. What about these atrocities that are going on now? Should we be subjected to die because we attempted a political action to join with another country that failed? That's the question I would ask.
Okay, but this brings me to another thing. So, is the conspiracy of silence among countries within these African region and the international sphere? Don't you think other countries, the neighbors like Nigeria, is also battling the indigenous people of Biafra, who is also asking for self-actualization and secession? And that might have been the basis to which Nigerian government is no longer interested in your own cause.
Yes, just maybe some French actors behind the scene are using that as a boogeyman tactic to put Nigeria away from our cause. But let me say that if Nigeria can be on the side of justice, you will discover that we are a more trusted partner for the security of Nigeria, no matter what is happening within their country. Because the fear of this or that in your house should not make us deny the path of truth and justice. Nigeria knows our problem better historically more than any other country because we have had a common history. So they know who we are, who we were, our leaders, and so on. So Nigeria should not buy that propaganda because our own is a case of annexation. Why is Nigeria condemning what Russia is doing in Ukraine and do not see the need to condemn what the Republic of Cameroon is doing in Southern Cameroon just because we are neighbors? The truth does not change. If the Nigeria stands with us, they are standing with us on the side of legality, and one good turn deserves another. If Nigeria can be with us on the side of truth and help us, as their own court had ordered them to do, to re-establish our autonomy, as it were, and regain our independence that we were given, you think by any means we will turn around to be the enemies of the Nigerian state? No. First of all, there is no similarity between what the Biafrans are doing and what we are doing. I said we are a country with internationally recognized boundaries. We went into a political action to join another country, and that process failed. When we say we are asserting our independence, we cannot compare us to a people who are trying to actually cut off a part of a country and call it a country. So if Nigeria can make that difference and see our problem on with the right lenses for what it is, they will be on the side of truth, and they will be serving the justice to the problem. And we, forever, the people of Southern Cameroon, will not only be grateful for our historical relationship, we will continually be grateful because we have attained our freedom through their effort. Do you think we will allow our backyard to be used by anybody to destabilize a friend's country? It cannot happen. Our problems are different. Our problem is different because we are not just going to fight our way to freedom. We are even expecting our countries to help us because we have a genuine case at the United Nations. So we cannot even partner with people who are just trying to use violence to get violence. We are partnering with countries because we have a genuine case. It requires a member country of the United Nations to take our matter to the floor of the United Nations, and that problem can be resolved in the next 2 months. Because we have articles charters, even the United Nations Resolution 1608 that granted us independence by joining. All those treaties can be interpreted at the floor of the United Nations. Why should we partner with people who just want to use violence to get something? I don't know whether internal or external. Our problem is an international problem. So we need international partners who are countries to help us, not some groups who are fighting for their internal whatever.
All right. Dr. Sako, I must thank you very much for your time. And it has been a very interesting conversation about the liberation of your people. I thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.